This is a video on the sentiment analysis for multiple languages in Python using the SpaCy packages. So let's first go over what the sentiment analysis exactly is. So the sentiment analysis is a contextual mining of text which identifies and extracts subjective information in source material and helps to understand the sentiment of a text. So if you, for example, have a review on a company website or on a hotel website and you want to know if this is a very positive or negative review, you can use the sentiment analysis, and it provides you with a polarity score which ranges from -1 to 1, in which -1 is a very negative sentiment and 1 is a very positive sentiment. So after explaining this, let's go over to the coding. So I will put the codes over here and you can see the output over here. So let's start. You need to load a few packages before doing this. So I will copy paste them. I import the SpaCy package and the SpaCy TechBlock package to do the multiple languages. I use the pandas for example, creating the data frame, as I will show in a bit. And I use the language detect to detect which language a sentence has. So it will become very clear in a bit. So I will make a data frame now. This data frame is not very big, so it's clear what I'm doing. The data frame contains of a column called text, and it includes the first text, which is in Dutch, the second one, which is in English, and the last one, which is in German. And I will print it here. You can see on the right how it looks. So this is the data frame, one column text, and then the rows are, there are 3 rows. So let's go over what are we gonna do. So first we're gonna detect which language each text has. So we already know it's Dutch, English, and German, but if you have, for example, many texts and you don't really know which language it is, or you don't want to put it in yourself, then you can use this loop for it. And after that, if we have the language, then you can say, so for this sentence, if it's equal to this language, then we use a specific sentiment analysis in that language. So first of all, we make an empty space for the language, which we're going to add in the data frame later on. And we're going to make a loop from 0 to 3, because we have 3, the text is equal to, the rows are equal to 3. So for I in a range from 0 to 3, we detect the language of the data frame with the column called text. So we already saw this column called text, so therefore it's df.text. And we loop them over from 0 to 3. And if we do that, we would like to add them to the data frame. So it all looks nice in one data frame. So we add a column called language in df, our data frame, which is then equal to what we just made, like the empty space language, which is now filled with the loop. And then df looks like this. So first it looked like text, and now we have a column with text, but we also have a column which is called language. And then you see that indeed the first sentence is in Dutch, which has a code of NL, stands for the Netherlands. And then the second one is in English, which is EN. And the last one is in German, which is the code phrase DE. You can add many more languages, many more sentences, many more languages. That doesn't really matter. I will show that in a bit. So now we go over to the real sentiment analysis. For the sentiment analysis, you need also a few new empty cells. So the first one is doc, the second one is polarity, and you have subjectivity and assessments. So in this video, I will only explain like the sentiment analysis, which includes mainly the polarity score, as I explained, ranging from -1 to 1. If you want, you can also add the subjectivity and assessment. I included now the subjectivity and the assessment with a hashtag in front of it. So you can use it, but if there's a hashtag in front of it, it doesn't run it at the moment, but you can include it if you would like to. If you need more information about this, you can always ask. And then the most important thing starts for the sentiment analysis. We need to load all the languages according to the SpaCy package. So now we already discussed we have 3 languages. If you have 4 or 5, you can add a few more. So we will do that. We'll run this. So what does this mean? So we have the first one is NLP, which has then a SpaCy load of NL underscore core underscore news underscore MD. And then it loads this as a SpaCy text block. And it does that also for EN and for DE. And as you already noticed, these are the languages. So this is the Dutch, this is English, this is German. If you would like to add more languages, that is completely possible. So I will go to the SpaCy website to show you really shortly that you can add any languages. It's just, we use, for example, for German, DE, we use DE underscore core underscore news underscore SM. That is this code on the website. But if you go to French, it would be FR underscore core underscore news underscore SM. So whatever language you like, Chinese, Danish, it's just on the website. You go to spacy.io /model/DA, and that's then for Danish, but you get the whole overview here in Japanese, everything you like. Add more languages if you expect more languages in your data sets. But for now, this is what it is to not make it any more difficult. So then we go over to the loop, and that's actually the last part. So we loop again from 0 to 3, as explained before. And I'll delete this. So for I in a range from 0 to 3, we detect if the language in our data frame, so df.language, this is the column that we just made, is equal to NL. And if it's equal to NL, then we use this code. So for the polarity score and the subjectivity, and here is again the hashtag assessments if you want to include. And if not, then we use elif, that's common code used. And if it's equal to English, EN, then we use this code. It's exactly the same, but you use, instead of the first loaded language, we use the second one. And if also not equal to this one, then we use the German one, because we know it's also including German. And you can also include, so if you're not sure if your language is in there, but I'm pretty sure it's only Dutch, English, and German. But if I'm not completely sure, then you can use else print no. So if you don't do this and there is another language that's included in your data set, then it will give an error. But if you use else append no, then it will provide for doc no, for polarity no, for subjectivity no. So the doc is not really used, it's just to get to the polarity and the subjectivity. But for the polarity, it would be very difficult if you get an error just because one website or one text is not in the right language. And then we run this all, and then we print the polarity. So you can just select polarity, and then it's loading, I think. Yeah, and then it gives a polarity score of 0.17 for the first one. 0.14 rounded for the second one, 0 for the last one. So that actually means that if you had your DF data frame, you can see that the first one is coherent with the first polarity score, and you can also add this again, like we did with the languages, as a column in your data frame if you would like. But you can also see quite clearly that the first sentence is coherent with this one, and the second one with this one, and the last one with the third one. So that was it for this video. I hope it's all clear, and if you have any questions, please let me know.